Kia ora, Washington Stars. It's me, Mr. Kelly. Today it's my turn to read to you, and I selected the book Mrs. Windyflax and the Pungapeople. The author is Barry Crump, and the illustrator is Murray Ball. This is a book that I read, and is from New Zealand when I taught there over 20 years ago. So I thought I'd share something maybe that people hadn't read before. On a wild and windy coastline, where the mountains meet the shore, a strange event was taking place a year ago or more. A funny little lady, dressed in possum skins and sacks, went and saw the local policeman, gave her name as Windyflax. She said a bunch of people from beyond the waterfall had shifted onto her place, Pungapeople they were called. They're normally quite harmless, very shy, you understand, but lately they've been stealing things and getting out of hand. I've tried to build a letterbox to keep my letters dry, but these people just won't let me, and I've had enough, she cried. Can't you make them go away, sir? Bother someone else instead? They bend my nails, they hide my tools, they make me mad, she said. The policeman was a nice man, and he took down all the facts, and so began his strange report on Mrs. Windyflax. He accompanied the complainant to see what he could do. I'll give these Pungapeople folk a proper talking to. She led him to a murky place, an ancient riverbed. A mighty cliff face loomed above. They live round here, she said. Well, where are they? Said the policeman, looking round and up and back. You can just see their reflection, sir, said Mrs. Windyflax. You can see them in a mirror or reflected in a pool. Otherwise, a Punga person is to us invisible. They stand about up to your knee, or just a little less, with wrinkly skin and hairy legs, and green as watercress. You're kidding, said the policeman. Who'd believe a thing like that? Seeing leprechauns in mirrors on a Westland river flat? It was then that Mrs. Windyflax, as ladies sometimes do, flew into tears and stamped her foot. You think it isn't true? Okay then, sighed the policeman. Get a mirror. I'll wait here. There's none around, she told him. They all simply disappear. Now it only goes to show you just how nice that policeman is. He went all the way to their place and came back with one of his. Now, let's see, he said. Where are they? And he turned his mirror around in search for Pungapeople from the cliff top to the ground. By George, I thought I saw one. Something moved just over there. There's another. Gracious heavens, I can see them everywhere. They don't like being stared at, Mrs. Windyflax advised, and it makes them very angry if you look them in the eyes. I can see one, cried the policeman. I can see him plain as day. He's sitting on that rock up there. And now he's gone away. By Jove, they're quick and lively. Strangest thing I ever saw. One was standing by that tree just there, and now there's 3 or 4. Help me catch one. We'll be famous. We can put it in a sack. It isn't quite that simple, sir, said Mrs. Windyflax. I'll bring one in for questioning, establish all the facts. I'll have to take a statement. Just take care, warned Windyflax. But the policeman, filled with notions of an imminent arrest, chased reflections through the rushes in pursuit of Pungapeople. Then he saw one, saw it plainly, saw exactly where it went, and he crept up on a flax bush to detain the miscreant. Then he sprang, aha, I've got you, where he knew he'd seen it go. Then he held aloft a muddy stone, then dropped it on his toe. Now, although that nice policeman isn't anybody's fool, he became exasperated and began to lose his cool. He blundered through the bushes where he'd seen one just before, calling on it to surrender in the handle of the law. Expostulating angrily, he sought to bring restraint to suspicious individuals in respect of a complaint. Implementing Regulation 12, a thorough search was made, but somehow during all this, his mirror got mislaid. Now, where's my hat? The policeman said. I had it on, that's queer. And the buttons off my braces. Hey, what's going on round here? There's nothing in my pockets. I've been robbed. I'll make arrests. They've got the laces off my boots. Come back, you little pests. I know I had a shirt on, my coat's gone missing too. I'll get a great big mirror and arrest the lot of you. It's no use getting angry, sir, he thought he heard her say. It only makes them do it worse. Let's leave it for today. But the policeman was indignant at these unprovoked attacks, and he wasn't listening properly to Mrs. Windyflax. It's theft of government property, obstruction of a cop. I'll call in reinforcement if this thieving doesn't stop. But he found it's rather difficult, apart from keeping warm, to arrest a Punga person when you're out of uniform. In just his long red underpants, inquiries incomplete, the policeman had to implement an orderly retreat. Don't approach them in the meantime. There'll be charges to be brought. There'll be legal implications when I've filled out my report. I've had some trouble in my time from felons on my patch, but those would be the trickiest I've ever tried to catch. Any day now that policeman will have finished his report. The writing of it must be taking longer than he thought. Irregardless of the rumor that he's given up the chase, he intends to get a mirror and return to close the case. He'll lay in information, and it won't be long before those pesky Punga people feel the vengeance of the law. So as soon as information comes to hand about the case, we'll let you know what's going on at Windyflax's place. Meanwhile, Mrs. Windyflax, to everyone's regret, puts up with Punga people. And her letters getting wet. Thanks, Washington Stars.